Let's go. Why don't you just bring it to the table? Why don't you just bring it to the table? With Angela C. Harden. So whatever the problem is, just bring it to the table. Why don't you just bring it to the table? Bring it to the table. With Angela C. Harden. So whatever the problem is, just bring it to the table. Why don't you just bring it to the table? With Angela C. Harden. So whatever the problem is, just bring it to the table. Why don't you just bring it to the table? Bring it to the table. With Angela C. Harden.
Blessings. We said blessings to you, for this is Bring It to the Table, Real Talk with Angela C. Harden. And we said blessings. It's good to have you guys here on today. I'm excited. I am still excited. Today we're starting a very special discussion. Amen. We're going to be talking about the state of the Black America, or the Black community. That's our focus today. And I always tell people like this. I said, every time I look in the mirror, I realize I'm still Black.
That's right.
And there's nothing I can do about that. And you know what? That's not a bad thing. I think Black is beautiful. And we got to begin to teach that even to our children, to let them know who they are and that they're worth something and where they come from.
I agree.
We need to know our history, and we need to know it's okay to be Black in America.
That is all the way right. It's a privilege.
Yes.
And it's an honor to be Black in America. It really, really is. And it has to be taught, like you said, the value.
Yes.
And the worth has to be reestablished.
Yes.
Many of us, once we are educated, or as the young people say, have been brought to conscience or are awakened, we choose to go back to sleep. So the world was shaped by people of color, and we don't realize that. We're all through the Bible. I'd say at a minimum 1/3 of the Bible characters are people of color. We don't hear that in our churches. Matter of fact, if you don't mind, let me tell you a story that happened. This is a real life story that happened this week. I was with a group of young men ranging from middle school to first year in college. And these young men were first asked, did they know who they were in reference to our history? And it was sad that all of them, the reference point that they used was the transatlantic slave trade. And so their history only went back as far as slavery. Second, they were asked if they could identify any people of color in the Bible. Now, this was at a church. And so they were asked if they identify any, just one person of color in the Bible, and not one of them could identify one person of color that was in their Bible. Now, this was in a church.
As you said, this is information that you were sharing and asking in a church. Mm-hmm. So if the church being the hub, the heart of the community, and we're not receiving it, or people are not receiving it there, then where can they get it from?
We're talking about the state of the Black America, and there are some things that we should know and understand about where we are as a people.
I had a couple of conversations on social media with some people who were not of color. And so there were some conversations with some people who subscribe to the notion of being colorblind. And this one particular person, one of his comments was that when he sees a person, he doesn't see a person of color. And then he concluded by saying, we all bleed red blood. If you think about that, how ludicrous of a statement is that? If you're colorblind, how do you know what color the blood is? And so you can identify the color of the blood, but when you look at me, you can't identify that I have a color. There's a systemic problem with those who who call themselves addressing the injustices. Their statement by alone indicates that they understand that there's an injustice. And so when you make a statement, I don't judge a person by their color, I don't judge a person by their color either. I judge it by after I get to know you, because there's some good people of color, there's some bad people of color, there's some good people of non-color, there's some bad people of non-color. But when you deny that I am who God made me to be, to make yourself feel good that you're not a bigot or you're not a racist, then you need to be re-educated.
That is all the way right, because basically what you're doing is just denying my existence of who it is I am.
We have to learn our identity and our culture and who we are at an early age. In other words, we really have to that have to be brought up in us, and parents have to teach that. We have to teach that, because we were told, we was told one thing, but it was totally different. We was taught one history and not the complete real history. So we have to make sure, if we're going to get real history of who we are, we have to ask the Creator, not necessarily the masters,
Yes.
And I say that in light of, because we came over as slaves, and I guess as they were serving the masters, they put in them who they changed their names,
Changed their identity.
they changed their identity and who they were. So let's talk about that, what Overseer mentioned.
Well, first of all, Pastor, we need to get rid of the misconception that all of us are descendants of slaves. There were free black men and women in America. There were free black people of color who were a part of the Indian nation or the indigenous that were already here. And so we've again, getting away from the miseducation, all of us didn't come from slaves. Okay, and all of us didn't take on a name of the master.
We need to begin to celebrate ourselves in learning our identity, that we do have value, we do have worth, we are somebody, and we are worth something, with something to give to someone else. So it is necessary for the family to come back together holistically, and for those that can't, there has to be somebody that can. So for those that don't know in their entirety of who they are, might be in a state of confusion, if you will, then it's somebody else that can help them. There's an aunt, a uncle, a grandmother, or somebody, a big mama as they call it, somebody that can help bring them to a place of revelation, to know that they are worth something and that they do have something to give. And I just believe that that is one of the strongest things that's going on with our community now, is that people, again, they don't know who they are, they don't know where they come from, because they're being told that they have no value and no worth.
Well, we see so many challenges with our black in our black community, or within our black community, that and it all starts, and what I'm hearing is it all starts really with our identity, not really knowing who we really are. And we could stay on that probably for months, because some people are going to believe Genesis, and some people are going to believe something else. And then that's a good question. What is it you believe?
When you have a single family home and there's not a male role model for the young man to identify with, not only does he not only know who he is as far as his culture, but then he doesn't know who he is as a man, because he doesn't have a man to model himself after. And what happens is, I believe out of the Willie Lynch ideology, and there are those who will argue with me that it was the Willie Lynch letter was written by a college student, and I won't debate that. It doesn't matter whether it was real,
who it was written by,
or whether it's not real. The ideology is very real, and so out of that ideology, what we find is that through slavery, and as a result of slavery, that a very tight-knit communal people became marginalized and separated, and where the father figure was the protector, the provider, and the role model of the family, he was made to be of no importance and useless because he could not protect his wife from being raped. He could not keep his children from being beat, and he could not keep his family together because they were split apart. Consequently, the woman learned that if the family was going to survive, that she was going to have to be the one that was going to facilitate that survival. And so she taught her boys survival skills so that they would not fight back, so that they would live, so that they would submit, so that they could survive. And so that ideology within in our community that women had, that the black male is undependable, that the black male can't be counted on, that the black male is a homemonger, that ideology, it's perpetuated from generation to generation without the generations understanding exactly what they're doing. So we have got to start building one another up.
Yes.
As men, we got to build one another up. But I would tell you this as a man, and you being a woman, it's an important role that the women play. We will try to reach the moon, the stars, the next galaxy for a woman if she supports us and tell us that she has confidence in us that we can. But if she's telling you are no good, never amount to nothing, that's all I heard growing up, that's all I hear from the person that's supposed to be my wife, the person I see when I go to sleep, the person I see when I wake up, what am I supposed to think?
Okay, here we go. You said a whole lot.
Yes, you did.
You said a whole lot.
And we got 3 minutes. So.
Okay, so in summation, let me just bring it to the close to try and answer everything that you said one time. Real talk. Number one, the woman wants to submit to her husband because guess what? You want him to be a little roughneck, if you will, but you want him to also be a man of God and a man of truth. So, number one, until either of those two people, if not both, have a renewed mind, you're never going to learn how to submit. The man's not going to learn how to be a husband or a man until he gets a change of heart, whether he has someone there to show him or not. It almost has to be a desire. Now, with the woman, true, you are taught or you grow up because you have seen women that have had to make sure the family was well taken care of. I was one of those women that grew up that way, so it was hard for me to learn submissiveness, if you will, because it is such a thing. I don't care. Blow the phone up on that one. Women need to learn their place in a relationship with your husbands. We just really, really do. And so the woman really does have a lot of authority or power, but it must be used in the correct way. You don't want to use it as a Jezebelic spirit type thing, as a control factor. No, but we need to use our love to help nurture and to help grow and mature and mold the man, because he may not have gotten what he needed when he was an infant or a babe. So as the wife, you literally have to see your husband the way you want him to be. So if he's not taking out the trash, then you speak it. You know what? He is going to take this trash out without me having to ask him one day. You know what? He is going to do this, that, and the third. And we're going to... You have to speak these things into existence, because we really, really do have so much power and authority in our mouth. Go ahead.
But that's the issue. That's the problem. You said something that I thought about. The problem is with submission with women and with men and husband and wife is the word you use. A woman need to know her place. That's the problem a lot of people have, because what is that? What place is that?
The place is where you belong.
Okay.
That's what the place is. Because we are designed to be a help meet, is what it says. So that means I'm going to help you meet whatever the need is that has to be met. However, I know who I am. You know who you are. And because we have no issue or struggle with the identity crisis, I'm able to say I know where my place is and you should know yours, because I can't do what he does and he certainly can't do what I do.
Well, I like another word though, because I think it's that place, and I know we got a minute. It's that's the word that a lot of females have a problem with, that place.
Let's say
but I like another word that starts with a P. Why can't we just be partners? Why
That's
can't
what
we
it
just
is.
be? And I think when we become partners, then we walk in agreement with each other. We able to strengthen each other. We able to pray together. We able to. There's no look. I'm in front of you. You behind me.
Mm-hmm.
We're partners. That's the place we both ought to be in. And I think when we realize that, and as women, we realize that we're not the second citizen. We're your helper.
That's right.
Your helpmeet, your partner. I think that's a better word. What y'all think? We got to get ready to get out of here.
Yeah, next week I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna help you out with that trash.
And then, all right, we got to go. Listen, until next time, it's been Bringing to the Table Real Talk with Angela C. Harden.
Shalom.
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 Why don't you just bring it to